Look at you with a spoon, being all classy.
I'm a classy broad.
In this video, I'm gonna cook for my family using only this book. Stick around to see what we think.
Chocolate sauce got a vegetable taste to it.
I would eat this again.
That's pretty good though.
Oh wow, it's got so much flavor in it. The spices are really well balanced.
What does thyme taste like?
Ugh. It's an interesting choice.
Are you expecting me to eat this?
Mmm.
Oh, ew.
I hate it. Go.
I think that's very tasty. I really like it.
I don't really think I want to keep eating this.
It's really good.
It's really good.
It's disgusting.
I just like to remind you all that Annie is sick right now, and so let's not. Yeah, her flavor taste buds are off.
I can hear you.
She can hear me.
My ear.
You're really.
I'm in trouble now. Wow. Greetings and welcome to or welcome back to PB with Jay. Here on the channel, we focus on all things plant-based goodness, and today we are doing a deep dive into sweet potato soles, otherwise known as Jenné Claiborne's Vegan Vibes. This book was recommended by a lot of you. Just in general, you've been asking us to do some coverage on sweet potato sole for a long time. For those who don't know, sweet potato sole is a fixture within the vegan and plant-based community, both here on YouTube and on pretty much every other social platform. So this is long overdue. Just flipping through this book, I was instantly excited because, as we continue to do these reviews here on the channel, I'm constantly just trying to do stuff and types of recipes we haven't done before, because I know one of the constant criticisms of my kids is that, well, we've already had something like that, or we've eaten this before. Because there is a lot of overlap within the plant-based and vegan community with recipes. Even Shein here has a best ever tofu scramble, which I'm sure everyone has a best ever tofu scramble. So things like that I try to avoid as I curate the recipes that we're going to try for these reviews. So I'm excited to dive into that. If you're curious how our review system works, I've got it here on the screen to give you a sense of what the letters mean when we're doing our rating system. If you do end up picking up this book, consider using our code in the description down below, or the link, I should say. Getting it there obviously helps out Jenné, but it gives us a little kick as well. But stick around to the end of the video, because that is where I'm going to tell you whether or not I think you should buy, borrow, or bypass this book altogether. But before we get into the recipe reviews, I'd like to give a quick hello to some of you who said hello to us in the comments down below. Martina from Germany, Joan from Oshawa, Ontario, Chris from Stony Brook in New York, Eileen from Hopatong, New Jersey, Barb from Excelsior Springs, Missouri, Jerry from Badgers Quay, Newfoundland, Jody and I am from Tampa, Florida, Susie from Winfield, Pennsylvania, Trish from Bristol in the United Kingdom, who is addicted to clay modeling. I need more information on that. Comment below. Dolly Scott from Washington, D.C., Patty from Montana, Leslie, also from the United Kingdom, and Cynthia from Texas. If you'd like a shout out here on the channel, all you have to do is say hello to us in the comments down below. Let us know who you are, where you're watching from, and what you have for breakfast this morning. Let's mix it up a little bit here. If you want to bump up on that shout out list, consider joining us over in the Mighty Network for that perk, along with many, many others. More important than any of them is just having a supportive community of like-minded individuals. And you can join that for the price of a crappy cup of coffee a month. To the recipes. For dinner on a freezy, rainy day, I'm gonna make this cozy chickpea tomato soup. The reason I picked this recipe was because it just had ingredients for a tomato soup that I haven't seen before. And even though Wooly is not crazy about tomato stuff these days, I thought because of the butternut squash in here, all the chickpeas in here, it would help to dilute it and make it not so bad for her. Bad's not the right word. Anyway, I also just love that it's got a nice starch in here. It's got a really nice protein source in here. There's fat from the chickpeas as well. It's one of those soups that you can actually eat that fills you up and's got all the good stuff. So that's a plus for me too. And this is really, really simple. The only thing I'm really doing is avoiding using the oil, which I know some people argue doesn't open up the spices as well, but I don't care. I don't want the oil. So we're gonna saute the onion, garlic, and ginger together just until the onion is nice and soft. Because I'm not using oil, I splashed in some vegetable broth here and there. Then you're gonna sprinkle all of these spices together and just stir and just toast them a little bit for like 30 seconds or so. Make sure the onion and everything gets nice and coated with those spices. Then we're gonna dump everything else in. She calls for bouillon cubes here, better than bouillon. That's not something I could find or see in the grocery stores here in Canada. So literally, I'm just using our homemade vegetable broth here and hoping that it's got the same vibe and does what it needs to do. I think that's fine. Use vegetable broth. Make your own vegetable broth. We're gonna bring that up to a simmer and then let it sit for about 30 minutes just until the butternut squash is softened. And then she says to take an immersion blender to it. If you don't have an immersion blender, throw it in your blender and whir it up a couple cups at a time. And then, you can mince it up as chunky or as smooth as you like it, depending on your own tastes. And then just season it with salt and pepper. She recommends garnishing it with cilantro, although the photo doesn't look like cilantro. Looks like thyme, which I have some. I have some fresh thyme, so I'll put some of that in our soup. It's gonna be here. It's not in my time while the soup cooks.
Just got new nails. Then flinch. Oui, oui.
Why is there thyme in it?
For garnish, for beauty.
Okay. It needs salt and pepper.
Okay. She does say to garnish it with salt and pepper, so why don't you add some and then see if you like it more.
6 hours later.
Oh, that's better. It's weirdly sweet. Like, I don't know. I like it being more tomatoey. It's pretty good though.
Yeah? That'd be good.
I'm gonna give it like a A.
Yeah?
More tomato would be higher mark.
Okay. Ooh. That reminds me of a soup I used to get at a little bistro near a place I worked downtown Toronto. That mixture of nicest spices she selected for this are really strongly. This is the kind of soup that is going to taste amazing tomorrow. And it tastes really good now. I like this a lot. And it doesn't taste tomato, so I think for Emily, it'll be just right. But for Ephraim's not wrong. If you were going to call this a tomato soup, I would maybe reduce the butternut squash. Because the amount of tomatoes is probably fine. But for tomato soup, it's like an A. For just a soup on its own, it's like an A+ to an S for me. It's really, really nice. I would gladly eat this tomorrow. And it's nice to know because the chickpeas, it's got everything you need for like a full meal.
Yeah, it tastes more like butternut squash soup.
But for you, I think that makes it more palatable, right?
Yeah.
Because you were not excited about the idea of having tomato soup.
No. Squash soup. It's an A.
The flavor's really nice, eh?
Mm-hmm.
The ginger and everything.
Yeah.
It's good
Gotta
stuff.
run.
Bye! She's working on the dessert. You're going to see that in a few minutes.
What is that for?
Garnish.
But we're not at a restaurant. Like, are you expecting me to eat this?
Yeah. Yeah.
What is it?
It's time. You can put it in. It's like little time leaves. It's
Gives
good.
me more time? For what? Mine. What does time taste like?
Try it.
I am trying out. Ugh. Ugh. It's good. It's got a good soupy taste to it. You know? Tastes like soup. The texture is giving chunky soup. Chunky blended soup.
All right. What do you give it?
I give it an A.
So while my soup was cooking, I decided to make some of these wholesome buckwheat crepes for dessert. But the first thing I did was make this tantalizing tahini chocolate sauce. We eat a lot of chocolate chips in this house, so it's really, really nice to find a recipe for a chocolate sauce that doesn't include all the processed sugar that comes inside of chocolate chips. This is really, really simple. Basically, you put all of the ingredients inside of a food processor and then you just let it do its thing. She recommends to add more plant-based milk as you want to get it to the consistency you like. It was really thick, in my opinion, so I added probably double the amount of plant milk that the recipe calls for, and this is the consistency that we got. You could use more or less. I put it into a jar because I'm not going to use it for a little bit, and she said it stores in the fridge for up to 1 week. The nice thing about something like this is it's kind of a guilt-free little treaty thing that you can pour over top of, you know, your breakfast in the morning, or like some peanut butter and toast or whatnot. So for the crepes, it's really, really simple as well. Basically, all of your ingredients are going to go into a blender. And the only swap that I had to do here was I didn't realize we were out of arrowroot powder. Like just a little bit left. So we did a little quick search, and according to the internet, there's a bunch of different swaps you can use for that. But we went with cornstarch, which hopefully will do a modern facsimile. One thing to note about the crepe recipe is that it doesn't say it in the list of ingredients, but you have to include 1.5 cups of water. Note to future cookbook authors out there, consider water an ingredient, because especially when you're mixing everything together, it just things get missed. I didn't miss it, for the record. I figured it out, but that's the kind of thing I would miss. So blending everything together, and then we're gonna heat up our whatever pan you got. This is where we're probably actually going to use a little bit of oil or a little bit of butter, just because they're gonna stick otherwise. It's what it is. She says to pour 1/2 cup of the batter into the center of the hot skillet and carefully lift the pan and rotate to encourage the batter to spread out to a very thin round layer. I like that she used the word encourage there. She says to cook until it's completely dry through, about 4 minutes, and then flip and cook for about 2 minutes on the other side. Put the crepe in the middle of a folded dry kitchen towel, cover, and repeat with remaining batter. Follow your party. So I don't know if it's just me or if it's the gluten-free nature of the crepes, but they don't hold together super well. Maybe this needs to cook a little bit longer. Maybe I'm rushing the cooking.
That's how it's supposed to be.
So what happened?
We just were impatient. We need to wait longer. And then it works.
Serve the crepes with chocolate sauce, sliced fruit, toasted nuts, and maple syrup. I didn't have any fresh fruit, so I'm just gonna heat up some frozen berries here. We'll plop those in the middle. I'm looking forward to this. Anyways.
Chocolate sauce is very bitter. Chocolate sauce got a vegetable taste to it.
I tried it. It's still on my thumb. It tastes very earthy, but I'm gonna try it with the crepe. Oh! Oh my god, F. Sauce is F.
No, the sauce with it tastes good though.
Uh-huh. I'm washing out this fork.
The sauce with it tastes good.
No. Oh, so bad. Ew.
I hate it good. The sauce on its own is really bad, but the sauce with it is good. I got B. I definitely put too much chocolate sauce on it. With like different fillings, it would be better.
Yeah.
Crepe's good.
Okay. Let me get this.
Yeah, so it was a crepe then.
Huh?
Does crepe have a different rating?
Yeah, crepe's A.
Crepes, not bad. It'd be nice if it was a little sweeter.
Well, but this is like a crepe that you could use for a savory meal too. So
But if it was a dessert crepe, I would add some sweetener.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's pretty good. I got like a B. That chocolate sauce, oh my. That was disgusting.
I would say for like a dessert, I would use peanut butter.
Right,
It's not
yeah.
really, it's too bitter.
I think if you really like a really bitter chocolate, then this would work for you probably. I haven't even tried it. I haven't even tried it yet, so I don't even know.
Tastes like there's like
She does say you can use others, but she calls it a chocolate tahini sauce, so I figured I should use the tahini. Made a mess out of this.
what was going on with her head?
It's good. I would eat this again.
I don't mind the chocolate sauce with tahini, but I know I
Yeah, mixed in with everything, it's better on its own.
It's actually
I
disgusting.
think I would use peanut butter to
yeah.
just
I can see how most people would
make it
prefer
a little
peanut
more
butter.
decadent.
But I like the earthiness of it. Like I like how rich it is. Or
That could be.
I think the crepe if you cook it properly. The crepe is excellent. The crepe itself
This one
is easily an A, right? Like for gluten-free crepes, these are great. I would use this recipe going forward. And the chocolate sauce, I like it. I'm gonna give it like an A minus. But I can see how if you use peanut butter, it would probably be more popular with people. In fact, we should do that. Tonight for dinner, I'm gonna make this miso creamy corn pasta, which is totally something we've never made before. She says that no shade on American style cream pastas, but they're a little extra. All that sauce, and she feels like she's eating soup with a fork. And she said, no, she says that's what the problem is with most pasta sauces. She doesn't want it to be soup with a fork. So this will be lacking sauce. We light on the sauce. So I'm gonna start off making this Parmesan with walnuts. It's really, really simple. You just put everything in the food processor and blitz it together. I swapped out the oil with aquafaba. I almost said alvafaba. There's a thing. So, and it worked just fine. It was delicious.
Want to try some walnut Parmesan?
Yes. It smells like nutritional yeast.
It tastes way better than it smells. Look at you with a spoon, being all classy.
I'm a classy broad. Mmm,
Right?
that's quite nice.
Yeah, I thought so too.
And the rest of this looks really, really simple. The only thing I'm gonna do, because it seems a little light on vegetable, there's corn and pasta in here, which is already kind of like violating my carb on a carb rule, but I'm gonna let it go because this is unique and it looks interesting. But what I'm gonna do is just when we're making the pasta, I'm just gonna cook some broccoli alongside with it because it just needs some more green vegetable in there. It will not affect the flavor. Quick hack for broccoli that looks like this, that is getting a little funky on top. We're just gonna grab a serrated knife and we're gonna give it a little haircut. And the rest of it underneath is still gonna be fine, especially because we're just gonna boil it up with pasta. Eh? See? Waste not, want not. The one thing that's a little annoying, it looks nice in the photo, is that this is clearly grilled corn that she's got on here, and there's no note about grilling corn. So she's just made it fancy for the photo. Know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, that's like corn on the cob. It's being like
Yeah.
put on the barbecue first.
Yeah, which is not what this recipe has you do with the corn. So just as if you're looking at the photo and going, that's what I wanted to look like, it's not going to. Even though I'm making it, it never looks like the book does. Something different is going on here. She keeps on mentioning these garnishes, like put parsley on for garnish. That photo is not parsley. I think what happens with a lot of these books is the people that take the photos.
They're like sprouts.
Yeah, the people that take the photos make the recipe without the cookbook author sometimes. So, anyway, that's no shade against the author or not. It's just one of those things where I'm like, a little shade because I'm like, I want the food to look like the food I'm making. And that's just, anyway, it's what it is. So we're gonna cook our pasta just like you cook pasta. She says not to rinse the pasta, just to drizzle it with some olive oil. We'll use aquafaba. And to reserve at least a half a cup of the pasta water. And then in a large skillet, she says to heat 3 tablespoons of olive oil with the garlic and the corn and a dash of sea salt and just cook until the garlic is fragrant and slightly golden. I might throw a little aquafaba in there. I don't know if it'll do quite the same thing. And then we're gonna dissolve the miso in a 1/4 cup of the hot water pasta and then pour it onto the skillet with the garlic and the corn. Sprinkle in the nutritional yeast and pepper and stir well, bringing the mixture to a simmer until it is creamy. She says about 2 minutes. And then to add more pasta water, depending on how thin you want the sauce. And then to add the pasta to the skillet, use tongs to toss. She says to season it as you like with salt and pepper, and she recommends some red chili flakes on top, along with parsley and that walnut parmesan. I'm looking forward to this as an alternative to the typical pastas we make, since Willie is trying to limit her tomato intake. So it's like something other than just pesto, which we do all the time, eh, Willie? It's pretty plain.
Yeah, I like
Like
that.
the walnut pasta, I think without the walnut parmesan though, it wouldn't work.
Yeah,
Like I tried a little bit of the pasta before I put it on, and
it has a slight
it's a
corn
very
taste.
subtle flavor.
I like it though. Sometimes you just want plain pasta, and then it's like an elevated
It's
plain
true.
pasta.
Yeah, I don't not like it. I just think you You absolutely have to make the walnut parmesan. Otherwise, it'd be a little too plain. But it's a nice idea.
Yeah, I like it. I give it an A.
Mm-hmm. The more I try it and think about it, the more I like it. And you can't taste anything. So her review is an S. It tastes amazing. Also an F, because you can't taste it.
You sure there's miso on this?
Mm-hmm. It's subtle.
I don't know. It's like, all right.
There's a subtle flavor there.
Let's see.
Hmm?
Just tastes like pasta and broccoli and corn.
Did you put that walnut stuff on though?
Yeah.
The walnut parmesan? For a little snack, I'm gonna make these hot cocoa kale chips. These are pretty simple, although they take a little bit of work to just prep in advance. You're gonna wanna soak a cup of sunflower seeds for at least 2 hours, it says. And it doesn't say to soak the dates, but I was using neglet dates as opposed to medjool dates, so I soaked those because those can sometimes be not quite as smooth and creamy as medjool dates. So preheat your oven for 325 degrees Fahrenheit. Get 2 baking sheets ready with parchment, it says, although I did need 3 for ours. You're going to drain the sunflower seeds and rinse it with fresh water. Throw that into the food processor along with everything else. It says blend until smoothish, which is actually a really good way to describe it. It kind of just gets smooth-ish. And then you're gonna get your hands messy. First, you're gonna wanna rip off the kale. If you got one of these little kale zippers like we've got, you can use that. Otherwise, just use your hands and rip them into, chip-size shreds. Shreds? Pieces. That's what I meant. Then you're gonna plop that entire mixture onto the kale, put it in a bowl, obviously, and then just start massaging it just to get a little bit of everything into those leaves, and then spread them out so that they don't overlap, if you can avoid it, onto the baking sheets. And then it says to cook them until dry and crispy, about 30 minutes. It says let them cool a few minutes before serving, and leftovers store in an airtight container for 1 day. In my experience, this is the kind of thing, as long as it's tasty, that does not last an entire day.
It's disgusting.
Really?
Have you tried it yet?
No. It's interesting. I have to think about that.
Let's see.
Why did you do this?
It's in the cookbook.
So why did you choose it?
It looked interesting. Because it's something we haven't done before.
I don't even know what to give it. I guess let's see.
Yeah?
I just
She's just sniffed it.
tastes like kale and chocolate.
Yeah?
I don't know why you would make that.
It's unique.
Yeah, but I don't know.
No good?
Yeah.
I mean, I would never make these again. But they're not bad. They're like a B. They're interesting. I'll happily finish these, but I wouldn't make these again.
What is this supposed to be?
Hot chocolate kale chips.
They're smushy.
Well,
So
try
not
go for
chippy.
more because some of them are crispier.
It's an interesting choice. It's fine. But I think I would prefer just like a salty kale chip, personally.
I don't mind them. I wouldn't make them again.
Yeah. Agreed. Maybe a B. They're kind of soggy, but maybe just
Well, not all of them are because I kind of piled them up, but they were crispy or when they first came out. It's a great idea. I love the creativity. I almost want to bump up the mark because of the creativity, but it's just not something I could see myself making. Tonight for dinner, we're gonna make this black-eyed pea curry. We made a lot of curries, but I've never made one with black-eyed peas. I've never really made one with like beans or legumes besides lentils. So this will be, I'm interested. And it looks like it's got a good spice blend. So I like myself a good spice blend. This is pretty easy as per usual. We're just gonna cut out that oil. I'm even gonna just try to bloom the spices with aquafaba. It's not really gonna work. It kind of clumps up a little bit. It's not really a thing. I understand it adds more flavor to bloom your spices in oil. I don't care.
What does it mean to bloom your spices?
I don't know. Something about oil and the fat in oil brings more fragrancy and flavor to the spices, apparently.
That's cool.
Yeah. So that's another reason people argue is like you should cook with oil because fat is flavor. And I get that. But also fat is fat. If you know, you know. Once those spices are going, you throw the ginger and the garlic in. Cook until it's nice and fragrant, which does not take long. It's like 30 seconds. Then you're gonna throw in the onions and a little bit of salt and stir that around for about 3 minutes. And then you're gonna add in everything else, the diced tomatoes, the black-eyed peas, the coconut milk. And she really likes these bouillon cubes, but I just used homemade vegetable broth. And then you're gonna bring that to a boil and reduce and cook until the beans are tender, 40 to 45 minutes. Oh, that's a big step I forgot. She wants you to soak the beans for 6 hours beforehand. While that's going, the other thing you need to do is dice up 2 sweet potatoes. She has to toss them in oil. I'm tossing mine in aquafaba. And then you're gonna bake those at 350 for about 35 minutes or so. I actually just threw ours in the air fryer and put them on for like 20 minutes because the air fryer cooks faster. And then once everything is good, you're going to toss the sweet potatoes in with the rest of it. And then she recommends serving it with rice. And if you got some black pepper, cilantro, and lime if you got it. So I'm definitely gonna put some lime on because I think lime is the kind of thing I just desperately love to put a little bit on every curry. It feels weird to have curry without a little bit of lime for me.
Oh my god.
What?
This is the worst bean I've ever had.
Is it not cooked all the way?
Is it crunchy?
Is it a little crunchy? Sorry. It took a long time to cook. So I might have pulled it off a little early.
They're just bad beans. I really like this sweet potato. I don't really think I want to keep eating this.
I think it's very tasty. I really like it. It's an A for me.
That's a really good curry flavor. Like just the sauce, the spices are really well balanced. The beans will soften more. Like I bet you this will taste great tomorrow. Oh wow, it's got so much flavor in it.
Yeah, I really like it.
It's just a little different from other curries we've had. That's so good. That's an S for me. That's really well balanced. And the beans just need to be softer. We cooked them for a lot longer than the cooking time suggested. And they're still a little bit hard. And I soaked them for way longer than 6 hours. Take the cooking time in the book with a grain of salt for the stovetop method. Maybe with the Instant Pot it's quicker. But flavor-wise, this is awesome. My only little note would be normally I would probably add some peas to this. Or just some other vegetables. A little light on vegetable for me. I don't think it's the recipe's fault.
Hurt your ear.
Oh, yeah, I heard. So good.
Yeah.
Other than the peas being like hardish.
But the flavor's nice, eh?
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's like an A.
Yeah. It's a really good curry. For a breakfasty, snacky, desserty type item, we're going to make these Barrett Boost and Carrot Mango Muffins. Carrot and Mango Muffins. There we go. She says this is one of the earliest recipes from her Sweet Potato Soul blog. We're going to follow this mostly, as you know around here. The one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make this gluten-free. It calls for spelt flour, so I'm going to swap that out just with some ground up oat flour, which we use a lot in muffins around here. I find this a good substitute. And the other change we're going to do is we're going to remove that melted coconut oil and we're going to use aquafaba. Otherwise, we're going to do this as it calls for. We're going to make our flax egg first. We're going to preheat the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and then we're going to get our silicone muffin pan out. If you don't have one of those, then you can get your regular muffin pan out and some muffin cups. So in a large bowl, we're going to combine the flour, almond flour, she calls for brown sugar. We're going to use coconut sugar here, baking soda, cinnamon, and salt, and we're going to mix that all together. And then in a larger bowl, we're going to combine the soy milk, the vinegar, aquafaba, vanilla, carrots, mango, and the raisins. And then we're gonna add the flax mixture up, which should be nicely stirred together now. And we're gonna stir that together, and now we're gonna combine the wet and the dry. And this is where you fold in the chopped walnuts. We're gonna plop all of that into our muffin tins. And she says to bake until the muffins are golden and pass the toothpick test, roughly 35 minutes, and to let them cool in the pan before serving. Most of them look okay, like you feel them and they've got some texture, but this one seemed to have a lot of mango.
It's really good.
Oh!
The flavor is really nice.
It's like a carrot cake muffin on steroids.
That's what I was just gonna say. It's like carrot cake, and then it has the great flavor of mango in it.
It's better. So,
You could have this as muffins, or you can make like a little loaf pan and put like a little special icing on it, like a cashew.
oh,
Like you can make a carrot cake with this. Is what I'm saying. It could be a muffin. You
It's
could
really
bake it a
good.
different way and make it a little cake.
yeah, I'm hoping that well, let's see what the kids think. This for me is like an S.
Oh yeah, I'm taking this to school tomorrow for sure.
Ooh, you can't.
Yeah.
Because I want them all.
So funny. Get back to work.
Oh.
Your place is in the kitchen.
It is.
It tastes disgusting.
What do you mean?
I don't like carrot cake. I don't like whatever that is.
What don't you like about carrot cake?
Oh, there's nuts in there too.
You don't like nuts in your fruit?
Oh, it's gonna make me throw up.
Really?
It's disgusting.
Okay, that's enough for you.
Should I throw it against the wall?
You're crazy, Hank.
What? It's disgusting.
What makes it disgusting?
You like it?
Yeah.
It's cooked.
And you made spaghetti because you didn't like our dinner. You just did a happy dance.
Hey.
Yeah? So you did a happy dance though. What would make it an S for you?
Something has to click. And this just didn't click like that.
Okay. But
It was an A. A was a happy dance.
I just like to remind you all that Annie is sick right now, and so let's not. Yeah, her flavor taste buds are off.
I can hear you.
She can hear me.
My ear.
You're really.
I'm in trouble now. So what were our final thoughts on sweet potato sole? So if you were watching this, you obviously saw what we thought throughout. I will just give a quick little caveat that Annie was sick this week, so I think her normal taste buds are a little bit off. So not that I want to like give any excuses for her. She is a pickier eater amongst us. But yeah, I think on a different week, she might have different feelings about some of these meals. Just throwing that out there. So I love that it's just a beautiful looking book. The photos are gorgeous. I think there's a photo of pretty much every meal. There's lots of photos throughout. Maybe not every single thing has a photo, which I know is kind of a deal breaker for some people. I thought for the most part, and maybe this could just be the meals we picked, that things were really, really simple and straightforward. I definitely didn't get stressed out about making anything in here. I will say, back to the photos, that some of the photos did feature like elements that didn't feel like they were inside of the instructions or the recipes, like some of the garnishes and whatnot. The way the corn was cooked in the one. I mean, that's all really, really nitpicky stuff. Some of the cooking times were also just a little bit off, but cooking times vary so much based on your oven, even the climate inside of your kitchen. So I don't want to get too granular on that. My thoughts, honestly, are that this is kind of a bit of a gem, you know? I realize not every single recipe in here hit for every single person in my family. And maybe I'm approaching this from a bit of a bias, being someone who also dabbles in recipe creation myself. But I thought what was really great in here was just her outside the box thinking. Like, even though I didn't rave about those chocolate kale chips. I was just snacking on them before I started recording this. And I don't know, I've never seen someone come up with that idea before. So if nothing else, she just really takes a fresh approach to plant-based cooking and does things I haven't seen other people do. And the recipes aren't that complicated. So if you are someone who wants to get a little bit more adventurous in the kitchen, and even if you are starting out, I think this book is a straight up buy. If you're strapped for cash, then maybe it's just a borrow. But this is a book I think you should definitely check out. Although she's got a YouTube channel, she's got all the other things, so there's no shortage of content you could go to kind of check out this book or just her other recipes in advance if you want to test the waters before diving into this. And I will link all of that down below, as well as the link to this book where you can order it if you choose to do so. And since we're here, I will hawk out our book as well. We do still have a handful of hard copies left. If you're curious about that, obviously you can get the QR code for the digital download as well. That's on the screen. But if you want to pick up one of these, email us with your full mailing address, and we will let you know how to get one of them. If you enjoyed this review, hit that like button down below to let YouTube know to share this with other people. Obviously, subscribe because we do a lot of these videos and we have a big back catalog if you want to go check them out. Speaking of which, YouTube might even have one set up for you right now to dive in right away if they know that you like this sort of thing and you haven't watched them all yet. So sit back, relax, check out one more cookbook or whatever else it is that YouTube is serving up for you.